Hello everyone, here Joey again, and I'm doing something a little different than what I have been doing. Instead of reviewing individual beers, I'm going to actually talking about the entire package, which in this case, in case you couldn't tell by the title or you somehow wound up here out of nowhere, we're going to be talking about the Sam Adams Winter Classics 12-pack. This is an interesting 12-pack because most variety 12-packs usually come with about 4 flavors. This one comes with 6, so there's 2 bottles of each flavor, which is quite a nice variety and one of the reasons why I picked it up originally. I will be enjoying this review with some of the holiday porter itself, which is part of the package. But I just want to briefly go over all the flavors and really just describe whether or not it's actually worth it or not to buy the package. So the container itself has, as I said, 6 different flavors. There is, of course, the standard Sam Adams Boston Lager. There's the Winter Lager, the Holiday Porter, which I have right here, Sparkling Ale, Old Fezziwig Ale, and the Chocolate Bock, which I did a review of previously. And part of the reason why I wanted to talk about the whole package instead of beer by beer is because when I was doing the review of the Chocolate Bock, it made me wonder if there was really a lot I could say about every single one of these beers to make a video for each of them. Also, you know, it comes in limited varieties, and not always necessarily wanting to film something when I want to just casually enjoy a drink. So we'll just go over it. Sorry, I don't have reference of the glass other than what I have right here, which is half finished, of course. But I'll make sure to describe them in just a way you can understand. First things first, we'll talk, of course, about the Sam Adams Boston Lager. If you've never had Sam Adams Boston Lager, I like to consider it one of the better domestics that we have here in America. To give you a brief kind of synopsis of what Sam Adams is like, it's really just a nice weedy lager with some distinct hopped tastes, and it's not, the most robust beer you're ever going to drink, but like I said, for a domestic, it's incredibly impressive. It pours really well and it looks really nice. I would say if you had to try one domestic beer that was, decent enough to drink, I would recommend, Yuengling or Sam Adams to somebody. But yeah, I won't go into too much detail because most people here have probably had Sam Adams before. So let's go ahead and talk about the Winter Lager. Winter Lager is one of the seasonal things Sam Adams has. Usually they have about 2 specific seasonal beers for each season, and of course being winter, they have the Winter Lager. They also have the White Christmas, which I've not actually had. But this one came with, of course, the Winter Lager. And the Winter Lager itself is kind of similar tasting to how the regular Sam Adams is, just with a few more distinct tastes in there. There's a bit more of the kind of winterish spices you would expect, and it kind of hits the palate real nice, especially with the kind of hints of cinnamon you get. Like I said, it's not terribly different from the standard Boston Lager, but the things it adds kind of gives it a nice extra flavor, and it's quite enjoyable at that. You can actually get those in 6-packs, so I would recommend if you want to just try that instead of all this, there's your best bet right there, because you can get it in a 6-pack pretty easily at any grocery store. Now we'll talk about the Holiday Porter, since it's the one that's right here. Now, I'll be honest, this porter itself, they can label it as the Holiday Porter. It really doesn't taste anything like the holidays to me, to be honest. If anything, I've had significantly better porters, but this one really just kind of tastes like an average porter. It's very much, got the boldness and very wheat heavy taste of a porter. Like I said, realistically, this isn't anything massively, original or overwhelmingly better than any other porter you can get at your local liquor store, craft beer brewery. That being said, it's also not bad. It does the job well. If you want to just drink a casual porter, that's pretty decent enough. Just nothing to go out of your way for. There's also a Sparkling Ale, which I consider probably the most misleading beer out of the bunch of them, I guess is the way I'm looking at it, because the way I had read about it and how it was advertised, it made it seem like it was going to be some distinctly amazing and refreshing drink, and it didn't quite fulfill that. It has a very nice golden appearance. As far as taste goes, though, it doesn't really have anything about it that stands out. It's very Got a very light hop flavor to it, not in the sense that you get hops with like a IPA or anything like that, but this very faint hop taste with some standard, molten wheat there. It's very dry, which is really surprising, but the fact that it's dry and doesn't have a lot of flavor going into it is kind of what made it disappointing, because it made it sound like it was going to be some really refreshing thing, especially when you call it a sparkling ale. The appearance itself, has something that looks like it should be nice and flavorful, and it realistically wasn't. That being said, it wasn't bad. It was just very underwhelming, I guess you could put it, and definitely one of the more misleading drinks in this package. And then we have the Old Fezziwig Ale. This is by far my favorite thing in this entire package. The Fezziwig Ale has a really, really nice, rich flavor, and the hints of spices it has inside of it complement it very nicely. It's a very good dark ale that has very nice flavors that complement the winter season feeling very well. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and out of anything in this entire package, I would say it is the one thing that makes this worth trying out, because you can't actually get Old Fezziwig in 6-packs, which is a damn shame because it's really good. If I can get my hands on another bottle, I might actually review that, because I feel like I could talk about that one for quite a bit, because it is quite nice. And then we have the chocolate bock. I'm not going to get too much into it because I made a review for it already. Basically what you need to know is it is a bock that has a bit of an overwhelming chocolate taste to it. It's incredibly sweet, which is kind of offsetting, and it's to the point where it overpowers everything else in the beer. Originally, I would say that this is the one that I enjoyed the least, but after having the sparkling ale twice along with this one, I'd say they're about the same for different reasons. Mostly because this one was underwhelming, but this one was overwhelming. So, I've briefly talked about the beers. I didn't get into too much detail because I don't want this to be super long. Let's get to the point. Is it worth it to buy this? My answer to that question is yes and no, kind of. There's 3 beers out of the 6 that are honestly quite enjoyable, which are the Boston Lager, the Winter Lager, and the Old Fezziwig, especially the Old Fezziwig. That one is really good. My problem is the other 3 that come in here, which is the Holiday Porter, which is nothing terribly special, but it's not bad. The Sparkling Ale, which leaves a lot to be desired, and the Chocolate Bock, which gave you more than desired. Honestly, it's hard to say, because I myself wanted to try all these things, which is why I bought it. I would say if you want to buy this, it's worth it for the 3 beers that come with it, and maybe you'll like these other few ones. Maybe if you're not too into heavy craft beer drinking, you might actually, want to try these to get an idea of what other beers can be like. You might be horribly misled, but it's definitely a good stepping stone. As far as somebody who's actually really into, drinking seasonal beers or craft beers, there are probably better places you can spend your money, and you can get these 2 in particular right here in 6-packs, and you might be able to find single bottles of Fezziwig at local beer stores or liquor stores. All in all, I'd say that this is just something that, for anyone who's a beer enthusiast, you're better off spending your money other places or finding individuals of these, because the price itself is a little bit hefty for what you get, in my opinion. I don't regret purchasing it, don't get me wrong, but like I said, better things you can do. So that's what I'm going to say about this package. Maybe you guys have had it yourself, have different opinions, things you think are better or worse. Feel free to comment about it and talk about it. Anyways, I'm Joey. Happy holidays. Cheers.